Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. The expiration date is May 19th, 2024. Are you ready? Because you have a golden opportunity right here, right now, to make sure that you are protected prior to this expiration date. This is big information, and I want to keep sharing it because there are many of you who are not aware. There are changes happening, obviously, and constantly with the VA. The most recent change that's implemented and will be going into effect is the digestive system changes. We are in a golden opportunity here right now because if you file a claim or an intent to file today, you're going to preserve the rating schedules of today and also benefit from the rating schedules in the future. I'm going to explain that, dive into it a little bit, and dive a little deeper onto the GERD one for you. So please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I truly appreciate it. Every time you hit that thumbs up, it helps, and every time you watch the video in its entirety helps to push this out to more of us. So I thank you all so much. If you want to support the channel in other ways, consider being a member. You can do that by going to the home page, and you will see the highlighted members there. You can hit the join button. Thank you so much to all you members. I really appreciate you. Thank you to all you subscribers, all you thumbs uppers, and all you watchers, really. So let's jump into this. All right, so the change is going into effect May 19th, which means that's the expiration date as well for the current rating schedules. Now, in some cases, this is good. For example, celiac disease, I believe, is going to be better off. IBS is going to be better off. They're removing a 0, they're adding a 10, or they're adding a 20, excuse me. So now you'll have a 10, 20, 30 on the IBS side. They're making changes to hemorrhoids, and they're making changes to GERD. The GERD one is the one that has me kind of a little bit concerned, and it's because of the criteria involved for rating the actual condition. I'm going to dive into it here and then give you kind of my what to do, okay? I'm going to front load this with where they're going with GERD. And I've done videos on this before in the past, both on this channel and on Veterans Daily, the other channel where we have the co-hosted channel with the CivDiv. So jumping into this, where it is going is GERD used to be rated, and still currently is in this very moment, on the rating schedule under hiatal hernia. It didn't have its own special GERD rating. They utilized the hiatal hernia rating schedule. Now they're giving GERD its own diagnostic code, which is great, but they're not really giving it its own rating criteria, which I personally disagree with because this is such a big change. What they're doing now is fine. It has its own diagnostic code, but they're going to now utilize the rating schedule for esophageal stricture. Well, cool if you have those symptoms. It's amazing to me. It is night and day the difference between hiatal hernia criteria and esophageal stricture criteria. Completely different. There's like one word that's the same. So I'm going to dive into where it's going. And this is going to be good for some folks out there who meet this criteria. That's awesome, and you need to be aware because you're going to need to file a claim right when this thing goes into effect May 19th. So, esophageal stricture. In order to get an 80%, which, oh, by the way, 80% is higher than the current rating you can get for GERD, which is 60 on the hiatal hernia schedule. So, 80%, here we are, esophageal stricture, and it says you need to have a documented history of recurrent or refractory esophageal stricture, tightening of the esophagus, right? Causing dysphagia, difficulty swallowing because your esophagus is tight, with at least one of the symptoms present. Okay, so you need to have one of these symptoms present and documented by a doctor, I'm assuming, because it's going to be evidence, right? So you need to either have aspiration or undernutrition or substantial weight loss as defined by 4.112 alpha and treatment with either surgical correction or the PEG tube. So that gets you 80%. So if you fall in that, awesome. I mean, look, this is the world of backwards, right? Everything bad is good because it's going to help you with your rating. So I get it. So if you meet that criteria, good on you that they're making the rating schedule change, because now you can get that 80% rating. Be aware of that. 50% rating, you need to have a documented history of recurrent or refractory esophageal stricture causing dysphagia, difficulty swallowing, which requires at least one of the following. So here we go again. One of these. Dilation, that's where they drop down the little balloon and they blow up your esophagus a little bit. 3 or more times per year. Okay, so 3 or more times per year, that would get you a 50%. Or dilation using steroids at least 1 time per year. Or esophageal stent placement. So if you have any of that, then you're looking at a 50%. At the 30% rating, and that's where I'll stop here, 30% documented history of recurrent or refractory esophageal stricture, so tightening of the esophagus, causing dysphagia, difficulty swallowing, which requires dilation no more than 2 times per year. So the difference between a 30 and a 50 is that 1 additional time per year for dilation using the balloon, right? Because if you get dilated using steroids, then you're the 50. So the 30 and the 50 are pretty close, is the bottom line. So that's where it's going. If you meet that type of criteria, you need to be aware, because you're going to want to file that claim. The earliest effective date will be the date of the change for that rating schedule, which is May 19th. However, if you don't meet this criteria and you're better off on the hiatal hernia criteria, which, let me rattle off what a 60% rating potentially looks like as far as the criteria. So 60% rating hiatal hernia, this is off the top of my head. Please add in anything that I may have missed. So heartburn, difficulty swallowing, vomit, regurgitation, substernal pain, pain in your shoulder or arm, material weight loss, let's see, blood in your stool or vomit, the potential of it causing a substantial impairment to your health, which that's always yes. I mean, if you have a GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease, you're bubbling up acids into your esophagus, eroding it, and you can come down with cancer. So yes is the answer to that one. So that's basically the nutshell of the criteria needed for a 60%. Less than those criteria put you into the 30% bucket, right? And then less than that put you into the 10. So the bottom line is that in my mind, the criteria of hiatal hernia give a lot of the signs and symptoms of GERD, and they are losing all of that and just moving over to basically esophageal stricture, so tightening of the esophagus with the difficulty swallowing, which of course there's a difficulty swallowing. And then it's how that's being treated is really all they're doing. So 2 symptoms followed up by treatment is how they're going to rate it now. So there's going to be, I'm guessing here, that there's going to be a good portion of us out there that would actually qualify better on the current rating schedule that is set to expire on May 19th. What do? File an intent to file today. You can call the VA. Call them up on their 800 number, the 1000 number. Call them up, let them know, I'm veteran so-and-so. I'd like to put in an intent to file. Can you help me with that? They'll help you with it. You can go online and start a claim online. That will automatically trigger an intent to file. I'd wait a couple days and then I would call the VA and say, hey, I started a claim online. I want to make sure that I have my intent to file in place. Make sure that your intent to file is in place with the VA. Now, what that's going to do is lock in an effective date. That effective date is prior to the expiration date of the current rating schedule, or it's prior to the effective date of the new rating schedule. You get it? So because of that, here's the beauty. Because of that, you have your intent to file in, document in all your stuff, file your claim. Because your claim is being processed through that window, what's going to happen is the VA is going to, once you go to your CMP, everything's done, send in all your information, they're looking to rate you. They are going to look at both the old and the new rating schedules for you. And they're going to go, okay, well, you rate a 10% on the current rating schedule, but you rate a 60% on the hiatal hernia schedule. We're going to give you a hiatal hernia rating at 60%. Congratulations. And guess what? That 60% might bump you up into the 100% range, where you as a veteran with a spouse and a dependent, it's over $4,000, close to $4,100 a month of tax-free money. Important. This could be a big deal for many people. Don't miss this opportunity to utilize both rating schedules with this condition. Make sure you document it. Make sure you utilize the schedule of ratings to get all the criteria that the VA is looking for, and have your Here's the best case scenario, what you could do. You go to your doctor, even the front office, and say, hey, look, I just wrote down my current symptoms of GERD, and I would just like for you to upload this into my medical files. Thank you. They do that. Then you sit with your doctor. Hey, doc, I would really like it if you could put together a letter just from your office explaining that I experienced the following symptoms from my GERD. Get them to put it down on their letterhead, signed by the doctor. Very easy for a VA rater to look at that and go, oh, you meet all the criteria for a 60% rating or a 30% rating or wherever you rate. So you want to make sure that you do that if you can. Next best case scenario would be having the doctor also fill out that DBQ for you for digestive system and specifically GERD, and write up in there and utilize the same words from the rating schedule and embed that into your disability questionnaire. All of this evidence helps support your claim at that higher percentage. So with that, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.